Good morning. We're off to do Mather Pass, and we're tired and not ready. All right, well, we took off from camp and got a couple hundred yards and had to ford a huge river. It is about 37 degrees this morning. The air is. And yeah, we just had to tromp through the river. So our feet, shoes, socks, everything's soaking wet and we're cold. And we're trying to keep moving, heat up. We've got a 4 mile, it's probably about 3.5 mile now, climb to Mather Pass, the next pass that we're doing. It's going to be also just a little above 12,000 feet, just like the one yesterday, except that we're starting out from 10,000 plus, whatever feet. So we got a couple thousand feet to do. So that's better. And it doesn't look to be horribly steep. But the problem is that the descent is supposed to be brutal. It's very steep and very long. And so once we get over the pass in 3.5 miles, really virtually our entire day will just be descending down this steep whatever. We don't even know what to expect, whether there's going to be snow or not, or a mix, or whether it's going to be really slick, gravelly type thing that you're skidding on the whole time, or I don't know what, but we'll see. That's what our day holds, and I'm sure it holds many more river crossings too, so that our feet can never dry out. One of the things I don't know if I've mentioned is this last week or so anyway, it's been, the mosquitoes are just crazy, as you might guess, from just all the water saturating everything. And so we've had to hike, we hike every morning with our rain pants on and long shirts and just everything covered so they don't get you. And then when it gets warmer later in the day, like right now, then we'll shed that stuff and put on some DEET. But we've had to be pretty religious about it. I mean, they are, I'm not talking a few mosquitoes flying around you. I'm just talking like swarms all around your head, your whole body, anything that's exposed. So had to dive into the tent quickly at night, be sort of strategic about how we do that. And so it's been fun. We're getting close to the pass. I think, I'm nearly certain that's the pass right there. And we're not too far away. And it hasn't been too bad of a morning. I think I said earlier, or if I didn't, there was a sign down where we tented at the very bottom of the valley that said 4 miles to the pass. But it is not 4 miles to the pass, it is 5.5, unfortunately. So we were getting close to 4 miles and realizing that was not correct. But anyway, we'll be up there soon, and then we'll start that descent down the other side. Well, we're getting up close to the top, and this is kind of what the trail looks like. Very bouldery, but every once in a while we come across something like this, where there's obviously been a rock slide, and then you just have to sort of precariously make your way over. Just being super careful, you don't dislodge something. So anyway, a little stressful. All right, here's where we came from this morning. And we're almost up on the pass. As you can see, there are already some people sitting up there. Get up and take a quick break, a couple pictures, and head down the other side. All right, getting ready to head down the other side of the pass. Lots more water crossings for sure. Just got to head right up there and off, and down we go. The trail's totally covered with snow, so we're just heading down the rocks best we can. That was pretty stressful. There were some pretty big long snowfields there where, you know, honestly, ideally we would have still had our ice axes in case. And of course we have our crampons on, you probably saw that. So we met 4 people at the top and we're all going down together. I mean, 3 peoples. And so the 5 of us are going down together. One of the women does not have crampons. So she's just going in her regular shoes. And I mean, that was icy. How she did that, I don't know. But when she got done, she gave Tiger Lily a big hug. And it was a little scary, especially for her. Alright, so we've come down a couple of miles. I mentioned up there that I crossed paths with a couple of people that needed a little help, support getting down. So they were very nice, and it was good we were there, and, you know. So, but it was quite a setback. So, you know, we're moving now, just trying to get caught up a little. It was one of the women is Danish. The other woman just happened to go to school where we live in Oklahoma. So I talked briefly about that. She went to vet school in Stillwater, so that was kind of interesting, cool coincidence. And then we also crossed paths at the top with our friend Will from a couple of days ago. And then as we were coming down, Dingo and Lauren caught up with us. We had seen them this morning. That's kind of an interesting story that I won't go into the whole big thing, but basically we found a Garmin inReach just laying off the side of the trail a few days ago before we went into Bishop. And Tiger Lily looked all through it and, you know, found some contact information and whatever. Messed around with it for a couple of days trying to figure something out until we finally found out whose it was. And then once she contacted him, he sent a picture so we'd know who he was, and we recognized him. We had already met them on the trail, and in fact they were even in the town in Bishop at the same time we were, and we crossed paths with them there. And they didn't know we had their Garmin, and we didn't know they lost one, you know. And so so anyway, we met him this morning just accidentally on the trail and gave him his inReach, and then they caught up with us, you know, when we were descending from the pass here just a little bit ago. So anyway, it's kind of fun when you know, get to know a few people a little bit and see people out here. So anyway, now we're going down. We probably have, we don't know, 7 or 8 miles of descending, and we'll need to stop for lunch here in a little bit. Hopefully we can wait until we find some trees or somewhere nicer than these rocks that are everywhere, and go from there. Wow. That's crazy. We've descended into a beautiful forest again, finally. It smells wonderful. You can hear the river over there. It's nice and cool. We just saw a deer. You know, a lot of people say they prefer the PCT over the AT because of the views, you know, because it's so wide open and you just get to see the expanse, you know, everywhere you go, whether it's in the desert or the Sierra or whatever. I guess a little less so when you get into Oregon and then maybe Washington, but you know, one of the things that you get or give up in getting those views is this kind of environment, you know. There's a whole lot of hiking that we're doing where we're just up in the rocks. And you know, of course you do have beautiful views, and I've taken lots of great pictures and shown you the views and stuff, but at least for me, it takes a little bit of a toll mentally, you know. It's so easy and peaceful hiking through this kind of environment right here, and it's not so easy and peaceful hiking through the rocks for me, for a number of reasons. But anyway, just realizing I enjoy this more, I think. Yeah, he's got a little rack on. Wow. Hey, buddy, that's pretty cool. A little buck out there. Yeah. Just chilling. Wow, that is cool. This is our water source for the night, for real. And then we're just gonna go right up there and tent. I think maybe there's enough. All right, well, we've had a long day. It's about 6 o'clock and we're finding a place to tent, and we've done, I think, 19-ish miles today. That gets us caught up. So anyway, gonna find this tent spot. I can't even talk. Good morning. Found a great place to tent last night. Underneath this beautiful mountain. And this is the river we got our water from. Just about 1/10 of a mile down that way. See where that waterfall was? And it was a beautiful night. So today we're getting ready to go up the Muir Pass, where we'll see the John Muir hut. And then we will continue on and try to get as close to the San Joaquin River as possible. I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. The bridge is out, and we'll have to do something about that. So anyway, talk to you later. Well, I've seen better bridges than this, but I guess it's doing the job barely. Well, today started off just a little warmer than it's been. It's probably about 45 when we got up, so that was nice. Didn't put on my cold weather gear, but then it proceeded to get colder, which doesn't usually happen, but it did, and I was. But now it's warmed up, and we've probably climbed close to 1,000 feet. We have a little over 3,000 to do to get through Muir Pass. So, and it hasn't been tremendously steep yet, so it's been good. The problem with this pass is that it notoriously has a lot more snow than the other passes. So like yesterday, we had enough of a time trying to get down from that pass. Today, we expect that because we're not going to get to the pass soon, it'll be, late morning. There's a real good chance that snow is already going to be all slushy. We might end up just post-holing for a long time trying to get through it, which just means you step on the snow and you go right through down to your, ankle, knee, or thigh. Then you take another step and do the same thing. So, we'll see. If we get really lucky, some of the snow will be gone. But, we just heard reports yesterday that's not the case, so I'm sure that's not going to happen. And the next bit of luck is, it could just be that the snow is just hard enough we can put our crampons on and be able to walk on top, make some decent time. But the sun's hot right now, and I can't imagine that's going to be the case either. So we're looking forward to a bit of a slog up there. It should be nice when we make it in a few hours. Sweet. That means we're at 10,000 feet. Only 2,000 more to go. Well, this is the river we camped by last night. About, maybe 4 miles back. All the way, way down there. Still raging. Kind of cool. We've been able to follow it most of the day. We just stopped and took a quick break because neither one of us have legs today. Really out of breath and super tired. And I think for me, well, for both of us, because we've been pushing a little hard. We did this. I mentioned, I think we had just brought 6 days worth of food. Got to get through in 6 days, and we're having to push it. And, it's been hard. And not only that, but Tiger Lily brought about the same amount of food as normal. And her bear canister is super heavy because of this. Like way heavier than mine. But I brought like the bare minimum food, and I'm feeling that. Like every hour when I normally would eat like a bar or something, I'm eating, a half or a handful of almonds or something that's not enough. So my body's tapping into its own reserves and it's wearing me out. What to speak of, when I just picked up my pack and put it on a minute ago, I thought, man, I cannot wait to be through the Sierras. Once we're through, we get to send those 2.5 pound bear canisters home that we don't have to carry anymore. That's a big weight. And we get to send home our spikes, our crampons. Those are another, I can't even remember now. Maybe it's 10 ounces or it's probably more than that. Maybe it's a pound. Anyway, I was just right off the bat, boom. There's, probably 3.5 pounds saved. That's going to be huge. So anyway, we got a ways to go before that's the case, though. I got to show you. Oh, there's these two marmots up here fighting. I was going to flip the camera around and show you, but it took off. Anyway, they were up on that ledge. Alright, I gotta stop talking. We're less than 1,000 feet from the top. And look what we found. Feel like we've entered a different world. What you like? All right, we made it up to the pass. Our good buddy Will is waiting for us. There's the Muir hut. Here's where we came from. Lots and lots of snow crossings. And we're almost there. This is the inside of the Muir hut. Pretty cool. You know, they could latch us in here. Look at that. Wow, that's pretty neat. I don't know what that's about. Maybe, I don't know. Looks like there used to be a fireplace they had to brick up because people were doing things they shouldn't do, probably. There's Will outside. Really beautiful out here. Well, it's been another long day, and we're trying to decide whether to tent here in about a mile or whether to try to get another 3 miles in. Probably doesn't matter either way. We have just loved hiking through this. I mean, it's been the most amazing. Just ponds and rivers and all sorts of things. And I didn't video all of them because, you know, like I said the other day, like every river kind of looks the same unless you see it in this whole environment. But it's amazing. Definitely saw more snow today than we've seen yet out here. And looking forward to a good night's sleep. We didn't sleep that well last night and we really need to catch up tonight and have some energy for tomorrow. So tomorrow we'll be heading towards a well, our first goal is get up at a decent time and head towards this bridge for the San Joaquin River that was destroyed last year in the crazy weather. Just realized I had that open, messing up the picture. Anyway, and the PCTA wants you to hike around this big, huge loop to miss a whole bunch of the trail. And it's like a 40-mile loop. Anyway, and the river's low enough, lots of people are fording it right now. And that is our plan for tomorrow. But if we get there and it looks too dangerous and we don't want to ford it, Then there's this over-the-top route that this guy came up with that basically just scrambling up the side of the mountain, across the top and down the other side to avoid the river crossing. And we might do that. The third option that we absolutely are not doing is that the bridge is actually still in place. And there have been a couple of people cross it. And it's like, apparently you sort of have to hold on to one of the hand railings and walk along the edge because there's no base to it, and it's the other railing has fully collapsed, and it's like, no, we're not doing that. If the bridge goes while you're hanging on to it, that's the end of you. You'll be all tangled up in there, never get out before you drown. So we will not be doing that. Most likely we'll be fording it, and then after we cross that midday, then we will be trying to get to we'll be trying to get as far up this mountain as we can, this next mountain, and close to Selden Pass, which is the pass we have to do the following day. And then we'll be hiking into VVR, where we will resupply and get some food. So that's a couple days away.